What's good, people? Let's start that to randomly relate reverse rants, no hate. So I want to talk about this. I just want to sum up something with Anthony Joshua versus Usyk, and just make a few pointers that some of you probably noticed. Either right away or since the fight has happened, things have settled in. Maybe you went and watched it again and you saw things you didn't see before. But let me say this, okay? For one, salute Usyk because Usyk went there and did what he had to do. It was said Usyk was too small. He's going to have problems with the bigger fighters. He doesn't belong in the heavyweight division. When he starts proving you wrong, which is how things happen in life, when you claim something about a person and they prove you wrong, instead of a person saying, "Hey, I was wrong. I thought this and this and that," they get envious and they want to try to find something to hang over your head. And the thing about Usyk is, you guys are saying Usyk is on another stratosphere. Usyk is on a whole nother level. Yo, Usyk is phenomenal, man. Yo, Usyk may go down as one of the greatest of all times. This is what you guys are saying. Okay, did he fight Wilder yet? No. Okay. Did he fight Dillian White yet? No. Okay. Did he fight Tyson Fury yet? No. Well, he fought Joe Joyce some years ago. You guys don't fancy Joe Joyce. Y'all say Joe Joyce is slow, right? He's overrated. He's nothing but a punching bag, and he's just had the right opponents. Only good thing about him is he can take a good punch, and his pressure, his stamina. This is what people say about him, right? So you're not saying that because he beat Joe Joyce. If he beat what Joe Joyce doesn't have footwork, he has sloppy feet. He has balance issues when he throw punches. He's off balance and he's vulnerable to get hit. I'd say he reminds me a lot of he's like this era's George Foreman somewhat, just without the power, So you're not saying it because he beat Joe Joyce. You're not saying it because he beat Witherspoon, right? No. That was a fight where people say he has to step up and fight the top guys, and Joe Joyce was pretty much underrated, right? Because people were still saying Joe Joyce is this and that. With all of his flaws, he's still a force to be reckoned with because what he has, he uses it well. And, it works for him. But, I do believe he'd beat Joe Joyce again. Okay, but that's yet to be seen. He fought Derek Chisora, who everybody was already saying Derek Chisora was slow feet, no footwork. He's pretty much a journeyman. He's over the hill now. He's not what he used to be, and even at best, was he ever world champion? What you understand? He always fought hard. He always came to fight. Who's the one man he beat when you guys are calling him an anomaly? Huh? He's special. Yo, he's from another planet. It's Anthony Joshua. So if Anthony Joshua is just a big bodybuilder, then why is Usyk receiving so much praise for beating a guy that's just a big pumped up bodybuilder? See, that makes no sense. Now, let me say this. Anthony Joshua lost the fight. Okay? The camouflage in the whole thing, okay, the whole situation about the fight itself is the fact that he did lose. Because Anthony Joshua actually improved. And you could see he was a better boxer. But that's the thing. He improved in areas that he's not better than Usyk in. And that's at just being an all-around boxer. Okay? And that was his approach to the fight. Now, we can say he's not an all-time great. He wouldn't have beat these guys from back in the day. What makes you think that Deontay Wilder or Fury would as well? What even makes you think Usyk would? You understand? It's easy to say that, and you can try to use judgment based on what you see and then what you think based on that. Well, that's neither here nor there because that's just fantasy fights, okay, and we'll never know. But the reality is Anthony Joshua got better. I agree with Fury when he was talking about going to the body. I was saying the same thing. Impose your will, walk him down, move him back, pound his body. He was going to his body. The problem was Anthony Joshua was not fast enough to catch him with more than one shot. Anytime he landed one good shot, Usyk retreats. He grabs his arm, he holds on like he's supposed to, but that's what he does. And Anthony Joshua could not follow up and punish him. But you watch the fight, he was killing his body. Usyk didn't like them body shots, man. Usyk was moving. Usyk was trying to. The thing with Usyk is he's smart. He's tough. He's durable, and he understands how to try to keep you from getting in the fight. To where even if you land a good shot, okay, you hit me with one hard shot, but I just hit you 3-4 times. So every time to your one shot, I'm gonna constantly pop that jab in your face, throw that right hand, and he's too quick. Where Anthony Joshua either was going to get hit and couldn't get out the way and retaliate, or he was going to not get hit and still can't retaliate. So now when he's trying to get set, he's making Anthony Joshua reset, and he's just beating him to the punch, and he realizes, oh, okay, he's trying to beat me at chess again. Someone said, oh, he wasn't playing chess. Yes, he was goddamn playing chess. Okay, because at the end of the day, he knows, like he said, I'm not a 12-round fighter. I'm 18 stones. Okay. So like I said in the last video, that's why you need to go in there and fight like the big man that you are, like the way you used to fight. Not saying it's going to make it that he's listen. That's not Anthony Joshua never threw, a whole lot of punches around, but he was more effective. He was more precise. He was more confident. You understand what I'm saying? And the thing is, you can see like on his face like frustration when he's trying to set Usyk up and trying to trap him and catch him, and as soon as he thinks he gets his feet set and he's about to fire, Usyk is either not there anymore or he throws something and move out the way. He's throwing from different angles, and Anthony Joshua basically had to be defensive move, and he just had to keep resetting, right? Now, I saw a clip of Floyd Mayweather when he spoke about the fight. He just basically said he told Anthony Joshua there's some things that he got to work, tweak, that or he's going to lose. And, he welcomed him into his gym and everything. Now, people made a big deal about Floyd saying that, oh, he's hating on Anthony Joshua. How is he hating on him? It's so funny how anybody else has an opinion on Anthony Joshua, bashing and burying him. They're just telling it like it is. Floyd wasn't burying him. Floyd just basically told him. You saw the video where Floyd was they were together, and he was even telling them, even way back then. Okay, so here's the deal. I can't guarantee you if Floyd would have trained him, he definitely would have beat Usyk. People say, oh yeah, but you gotta understand, his style was way different from Anthony Joshua. See, Anthony Joshua was like a seek and destroy type guy. Okay, so is Tank Davis. Who's his manager? Okay. Not to mention, well, you went with Robert Garcia, who Floyd beat when they fought. And I feel like Floyd would have been able to give him pointers on, look, Floyd understands the game. And you got to understand, he's fought big, strong guys. He's fought speedy, boxing type guys. You understand? He's had those different looks. So, it's not so much about your trainer. If your trainer is giving you everything you need, okay, he's giving you the right information, strategy, you have to be able to execute. So because Floyd is giving you what to do doesn't necessarily mean you can execute. Now, if you're being trained by Floyd, he's in there. I feel like, the fight, maybe he would have won. I'm not going to say he would have did worse, for damn sure. I don't care how much you hate on Floyd or try to, oh, Floyd's saying this and Floyd saying that. Look, man, Anthony Joshua is a good fighter. He improved. You can see it, but he improved in a loss. So that's what people are overlooking about his skills. So if Anthony Joshua stays focused and stays busy, they said that at the end of the fight, at the post conference when Eddie Hearn was talking about his lack of activity, going back to COVID and so forth, how his amount of time out the ring, because Anthony Joshua was inactive. That has a lot to do with how much you grow. Because even when you're training, but you need to get in that fight. And then the things that you learned, you're able to do. And he's not gonna have. Okay, first of all, as I said before, he wouldn't have had those same problems with Deontay Wilder or Tyson Fury. Completely different type of fight. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Here's the thing. And people need to, really just open their minds and understand reality. The same way Deontay Wilder didn't have a long amateur career, neither did Dillian White. All right, and they both up here considered amongst the elite of the heavyweights. Anthony Joshua got a late start in boxing. Okay, and this is not about let's bash Deontay. This is about let's tell the truth in this comparisons, because you guys love to say things about one fighter, but you overlook the facts about the fighter that you're defending. Anthony Joshua got a late start. Okay? Deontay Wilder won his title at his 30th fight. Even after he won the title, before and after he won, Deontay Wilder was fighting guys ranked in the 300s, the 200s, the 100s, the 400s. Remember, I made that video and I posted all his opponents up until whatever that year was. I did it, and I think that's when he lost to Fury the second time, and all this Golovkin nonsense started. Meanwhile, while he's fighting people ranked in the 300s and 400s, holding that WBC belt, the excuse that people have is because, well, he's not that experienced. Okay, but on the other side of the pond, here's a man, 15, 16 fights in, fights Charles Martin, which Anthony Joshua could have done. Deontay Wilder could have done. And guess what? He gets his title. Now he's IBF champion. He beats Klitschko, he beats Joseph Parker. Meanwhile, this guy's still fighting guys ranked in the 300s and 400s. Okay? And I have to reiterate how it was said that he's not going to be put, we're not going to put him in the likes of a Klitschko. He's just a baby. 30-year-old man, but he's a baby. Okay, wait. Is Deontay Wilder the one that said, at the end of the day, the fighter got the final say, said, you the boss. If he really want that fight, he'll say this and this and that. He didn't, yeah, exactly what he didn't do, right? So here, when you're fighting guys that's ranked low, you shouldn't lose to them, especially if you're an elite fighter, right? Then on top of that, your rival is out here fighting guys in the top 10. So now, with the inexperience that he has, it's a situation where it's all uphill from here, because you're fighting all elite guys, so you have to be sharp. Anthony Joshua held his own and had a hell of a run, and that's real shit. Okay, let's, for example, right, there's names I'm not going to remember, but there's guys that was way more experienced than him before he even got to Charles Martin that he beat. But even just the fact that he beat Charles Martin, made him quit basically because Charles Martin didn't want to fight no more. But y'all praised Charles Martin in his fight against Ortiz. It was a war. That was a great fight. Charles Martin showed, yeah, he didn't show that against Anthony Joshua though. Okay, so we're going to throw Charles Martin on there then. Okay. He beats Klitschko. He beats Joseph Parker. He loses to Andy Ruiz, but he beats Andy Ruiz. He beats Carlos Takam. He beats Povetkin. You understand what I'm saying? He beats these guys. Okay? He fought Molina. Wilder fought Molina. He gave Dominic Brazil his first loss. You understand? Dominic Brazil ends up being mandatory for Wilder's WBC title. And it's like, who did he beat to become that? Right? They have personal beef. Yeah, but Wilder didn't want to fight him. Okay, well, who did Wilder want to fight? So for everybody, that I just named, I might be missing some people, but I said enough names already. For everybody that I just named, okay, and not to mention, what's the guy's name? Tomorrow I show you. That guy that just fought Chisora. He gave him only his second loss. And people was Pulev. I don't know, man. Pulev. I think Pulev got more skill. Now it's funny because y'all was counting him out. Y'all was saying all these things, but then after he wins, it's like it's envy because he won. So what I'm saying, look at the fighters that I just named. Okay, he dethroned cats. He took their titles. He became unified. Let's look at Wilder's resume. The only he ain't got to go back. All he got is Tyson Fury and decent Luis Ortiz, old man Ortiz. Y'all call Klitschko old, but somehow Ortiz wasn't old. Okay. Look at Fury's resume. Look at Fury's resume. Still beat less champions. Still did less than what they all of them. And the thing is, they was pros like 5 years before. 5 years or more before Anthony Joshua was pro. So what was they doing the whole time when Anthony Joshua was coming up in the ranks? Why was none of them trying to unify? So when you guys talking about, oh, he can't fight, he can't box, no, bullshit. The man can box. At the same time, it's just the strategy that he tried to employ. It didn't work. You thought he would learn his lesson from the first fight, right? But then if you listen to him talk, even leading up to the second fight, I just don't feel like Anthony Joshua was ever as confident as he should have been. I don't think he was scared. I just think he wasn't as confident in his boxing ability, his ability to beat Usyk, and I just don't think that Anthony Joshua is basically because he's big and muscular. People are saying he should be knocking people out. They said the same thing about Lennox Lewis. But this is after he got with Emmanuel Stewart. But before that, oh, he too wild, man. He got to learn some boxing skills. But when he starts boxing now, oh, he's skipping around like Ali. This motherfucker 250 pounds. He should be knocking people out. Yeah, you guys just talk and run your mouth. You don't know what you're talking about. He's winning the fights, but you don't like the way he's winning the fights. Okay. Well, I'm saying all that to say this. Anthony Joshua fought way better quality opponents. And Dillian White was doing the same thing. Then Fury and Wilder. So here's my thing. For every accolade that we've given Usyk, it's like I said, it's because of who he beat. And none of them other guys I named he ain't fought yet. So for you to say how great Usyk is, that means what you're doing is indirectly giving Anthony Joshua props without even realizing it. Otherwise, well, he was supposed to be AJ. AJ can't fight, right? But no. AJ can fight. Yeah, he has mental weakness. Yes, he has, situations where, he openly says things that I feel like he shouldn't say because it gives your opponents things to exploit about you. But no. You can't possibly look at that fight if you know boxing and understand it, and if you've been watching him fight, see that he improved as a boxer. So to say, oh, he'll have the same problem with Fury and Wilder, no, hell no. Where's Fury or Wilder even close to what Usyk is? And at the same time, at least he had the heart to fight them. At least he had the heart to fight them. And Andy Ruiz, he has the skills. He has the potential. He lacks dedication. He lacks dedication. And so now when you look at all these guys, like right now, right? Andy Ruiz is fat and he's not even that good. You the same ones applauding him versus Old Man Ortiz. You the same ones that was applauding him versus Chris Arreola. That's going to be a showdown. Yeah, it's going to be... okay. It's like people was hating Tank Davis because he's associated with Floyd Mayweather. But then all of a sudden, all the guys that y'all claim is going to beat Tank knocks him out. Then all of a sudden, now, well, he ain't going to beat this guy. It's always the next guy. He ain't going to beat him, he beat him. Well, he ain't going to beat him, he beats him. Well, he won't beat him, he beats him. And then some of y'all just forced to just, you know what, I got to give him his credit. Oh, no. Oh, he still ain't fought nobody. Okay. Man's a three division world champion, but he ain't fought nobody. All right. You are the same one sitting here crying for and praising Adrian Broner because he's a three-time champion, former champion, but he fought everybody, right? Yeah, and he lost to everybody. So every time you sit up and say, "Well, Anthony Joshua should have did this and should have did that," we all look. We can look at any fighter and critique what they did or didn't do. But my whole thing is, He's only lost to the elite guys. You understand what I'm saying? So he's in there fighting these guys while these other guys are playing duck, 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 goose. Also, let me say this. Tyson Fury's no fool. He's a clown, not a fool. He knows that's still a massive fight between him and AJ. And it will be a redemption fight for AJ. And if that happened, whether it's in Saudi or whether it's in the UK, that fight, not just those two places, but he knows the people would definitely come out to see those two fight. And after him losing to Usyk twice, a lot of people will be cheering for AJ to win because it's like, nah, man, we don't want to see him lose again. But the people who are listening to all this babbling going on about what this fighter should have did and didn't do, like I don't make fun of people having bad situations, but see, arrogant people, people who put their foot in their mouth and show you that they're just an actor for the cameras. I don't feel remorse for them when they start saying, claiming things. But like when AJ broke down and got emotional at the post conference because he lost, we've seen fighters cry, we've seen NBA players cry. We touched on that. Here's a man who was riding around, and then you know what? And it's funny. And I'm gonna say it anyway because when I was going to do this video and conversation, I was speaking, and Eddie Hearn touched on it. And I said, yeah, because basically, you're a guy who was sitting up here, did a whole segment about having mental health issues and all this, and how you was 300 pounds and you was out of shape and all this stuff. You was suicidal and all that. But yet, you're making fun of someone who put work in, put hard work in, dedicated himself to this sport, changed his life around through this sport. And instead of you even just understanding, yeah, I could imagine how you feel, man, No, you want to make fun of it and always make everything about you and tell everybody how you would have did this and you would have did that. But my whole thing is you've been taking an easy route your whole fucking career. And this is real shit. Deontay Wilder's been taking an easy route his whole fucking career. And this man is in here fighting the guy that's in the fucking top. He's fighting former champions, which were champions at the time. And then you guys are sitting up here talking shit about he wouldn't beat Wilder and he wouldn't beat Edge and he wouldn't beat Fury. But you guys are complacent with the fight not taking place. Because I feel like deep down inside, the people that saying that, they're not really sure. Deep down inside, they know AJ's still a threat. Now, this is not about, I'm coming to AJ's defense. It's the logic, the reason, and then you got to look at the facts of what was going on and the truth of things. It's just reality, man. And let me just say, because I'll make an example. When Antonio Tarver beat Roy Jones, I was, whoever Roy fight, I'm rolling with Roy. First fight they had, I was really impressed with Roy for the fact that the weight loss and how Roy, when have you ever seen Roy get gassed in a fight? Roy was gassed by the third round. And from that round all the way up to the 10th, he fought his ass off and he pulled he got the decision. Second and third fights that they had, and the fight in between with forget the guy's name. But anyway, you saw Roy just wasn't the same anymore. Roy was, you would never see, prime Roy Jones again. He was done. Somebody said, Tarver just caught him at the right time, man. See, they'd have fought their primes. Yeah, I agree. A prime Roy beats Tarver. But you can't, and yeah, you can say he caught him at the right time. But I'll say this. He did what he had to do to win. And you got to remember, they're the same age. Bernard Hopkins is even I think 4 or 5 years older than Roy Jones. But he was able to maintain a more elite level than Roy Jones in the long run. But prime Roy, well, unfortunately, that's not what we got. You understand what I'm saying? Just like people make the excuse that, when Lennox Lewis fought Tyson, even though he's older than Tyson, Tyson was finished. That's not Lennox Lewis' problem. And the same people saying that shit, none of you motherfuckers were saying Lennox Lewis was going to win. All of you were sitting there saying Tyson going to knock him out. He got a weak chin. All that hit and run shit he be done. I'm like, hit and run. What fights y'all watching with Lennox Lewis? Because the man know how to get on his toes if he need to, and he know how to use that jab and not stand there and just fight in the phone booth for no fucking reason. I mean, what are y'all watching? So, when you look at any sport, man, and there's things you can point out. Like you have some guys, some like you have teams. You have these teams broken down into different conferences. You might have one team that's like 6-0, and every other team in their conference is like 1-5. 2-4. They're losing games, so you're in a weak division. You understand what I'm saying? And then all of a sudden, your schedule is a lot lighter than other teams. Now, if you are as good, right? If you are as good as y'all, as y'all appear to be, that means when you play the tougher teams, you'll win. But now, what happens if when you play the tougher teams, you lose? But you can beat all these other weak teams. So you might finish your season 12-4. You know what I'm saying? Good record, really good record. You only lost 4 games, out the whole season. But you couldn't go in and win. Now, if you lost a dog fight with a team, and it's like that game could have went either way, it came out to a mistake or whatever, okay, we get it. But it is what it is. Everybody remembers who won. That's just how it goes. When you look back and sum up everybody's career, you can't compare Deontay Wilder's fucking accomplishments to Anthony Joshua's. And you can't even compare Tyson Fury's fucking resume to Anthony Joshua's. And that's just factual. Look at that shit. Look at who did what. Look at who he beat, who he fought. And the thing is, he has less experience. And so even while Wilder was in here getting experience fighting these 300, 400 ranked guys, he was still in his sport as a pro years before Joshua. And that was Wilder's choice to decide to go pro, however. So he did what he did. But when you look at what he was doing, who he was doing it against, you can't even compare that shit, man. And here's a guy who got praised for getting a bunch of knockouts with the right hand against who? You have undefeated fighters. People think Marciano and Floyd and Andre Ward. No, there's like 7 or 8 undefeated fighters, might be even more. And the thing was, people said, well, the people that they beat wasn't really that well known or, really highly praised. So they don't acknowledge the fact that they retired undefeated. They're not the only ones. You understand what I'm saying? So some, arguments are subjective and people are always going to have an opinion about something. But yeah, I just, it's like, don't be fooled. He lost to Usyk. Yes, he fought the wrong strategy. And I'm telling you guys, let's look at it this way. Joe Frazier is an all-time great. I'm pretty sure all y'all agree. He got destroyed in 2 fucking rounds by Foreman. Twice. Got knocked down, a total of 7 times, I think, if you combine the 2 fights. Got destroyed. Couldn't do nothing. Guess what Joe Frazier couldn't do? He couldn't fight a different style. He tried. Remember, he tried to stay on the outside, dancing, popping up on his toes. It wasn't effective at all. Didn't know what to do, just hopping around and moving, trying not to get hit, trying to figure it all out. And it didn't work. He got beat just as bad the second time. Is he a bum now? Is he all of a sudden not an all-time great because of that? Ken Norton, who you guys also praise, who had 3 wars with Muhammad Ali. He was I think he had the WBC once. One of them titles he had, IBF or W, whatever it was. And he defended it against Holmes and he lost. He got trashed by Ernie Shavers in 1 round. He got destroyed by George Foreman in 4 rounds. Is he a bum now? You understand what I'm saying? Do you see where I'm going with this? Okay, there's plenty of fighters. I mean, Terry Norris is a Hall of Famer, and Terry was that guy too. Whoever he thought I was going with, Terry made a lot of careless mistakes, but had all the skills in the world. You compare his record and with other people and look at who he fought. There's people that he had way better resume than. But guess what? They came in a later era and was pushed differently. Had a bunch of easier fights. Oh, I don't know. Well, his record is, but can you honestly say you think he'll beat Terry? I don't know. Okay, that tells it all right there. You cannot. I mean, and it's like I said, it's all that stuff that doesn't matter because we'll never know. But the point of what I'm saying, when you take the easy route, you shouldn't lose. Which is why when we was critiquing Wilder, we saying, how the fuck are you getting outboxed by Gerald Washington? How is Duhaupas outboxing you, man? I forget the other guy name that was outboxing him as well. But we've seen him several times. He's down and he's losing. He's getting beat by these subpar fighters. And then all of a sudden, he lands the right hand. And what matters is what? He lands the right hand. And the fact that we knew he was limited, we were saying if he had some skills to go with that right, yeah, he'd be all right. And look at what happened when he stepped up in Fort Fury. Is it just a coincidence that he lost to a guy 3 times? Yeah, I know he got a draw in the first one, but yeah, is it just a coincidence? Nah. And even Ortiz. Did Ortiz look good against Charles Martin? Y'all to say, nah, but he getting old. But when he won the fight, Ortiz still got like what? Listen to what you guys listen to what you're saying. Well, plain and simple, y'all. Every fighter is not going to reach the height that fans want to see them get at, or they're not gonna be able to do it as long as you like to see them do it. But you know what? Here's the deal. I'm gonna say, like I said, AJ had a hell of a run. I'm not saying his run is over. I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. Well, only time will tell. But Anthony Joshua doesn't have that kind of dog in him where he's willing to go in there and just trade blows. That's not his style. That's not what he does. That is not what he does. Should he throw more combinations? Yes. He doesn't have to do. Nobody's trying to tell him to throw 100 punches around. It's just technically things that he needs to do and understand, because Anthony Joshua still has a lot left as of right now. He needs to understand why he lost that fight. He needs to understand that, for one, he has to stop telling himself he's not a 12-round fighter. He has to stop putting limitations on himself. But at the same time, he knows his body better than we do. You understand what I'm saying? So his lack of confidence or whatever he has is based on what he does day to day in the gym, what he may be asked to do, and he's just not doing it the way they want him to do it. Nobody expect Robert Garcia to sit there and say, I don't know if he's ready. No. Anthony Joshua did much better in that rematch. He did way better in that rematch. But again, the skills of Usyk is different from his, is different from Fury's, and is different from Wilder's. He's 3 steps above all of them in terms of boxing, because he knows he's a thinker and he knows what to do. Fury with his slow feet, okay? Yeah, the body shots is what you need to, we know he don't like body shots, and we know because you're much, Wilder, all them guys, they're bigger, naturally bigger than Usyk. I don't know so much about Wilder. Wilder's scrawny, but when he's not, beefing up for a fight, he's scrawny. But bottom line, yeah, we know, okay, what does Wilder throw to the body? A jab. Do you see him punishing people to the body with hooks and uppercuts? Nope. So what is he going to do other than try to land the right hand? Fury is damn near 300 pounds. So you think that Fury's going to have an easy time trying to keep Usyk stationary and pound his body? Like why you're trying to do that? If Anthony Joshua couldn't do it, you think that look at Fury's style. Fury's long, stays behind his jab, he moves, he does that twist and turn shit. When he's coming forward, he's trying to hold you. Okay? He was able to have success with that with Wilder. Imagine him coming forward trying to pin Usyk on the ropes, and you think Usyk's just going to be there for him? Nope, Usyk is going to do the same thing. Throw them little pawing shots, and you know what? When Fury leans to try to throw shots to the body, he's going to be wide open. Usyk is going to outscore him. And to be honest with you, the best thing that can happen to him is if Usyk just happen to slow down by the time if they fight, and he's just all of a sudden he can't do like he used to. If he can catch up with him, and because I think honestly, the way that Fury's even talking about fighting him, yeah, I see what Fury would try to do in my head. He'll throw to the body because he tries to, like, he sticks his hand out. He tries to catch up with you. So when he throws that overhand, the one thing he will do that AJ wasn't doing, he's going to grab Usyk, lean his weight on him, and walk him back to the ropes every chance he gets. It's not going to be some action-packed fight. In my opinion, I have to see it first to believe it because I just don't see it. Walk him down. When he gets him on the ropes, try to free his hands so he can try to get them shots off and bump him with his shoulders. When Usyk moves, try to make him lean so he can lean on his back. All those little dirty tricks of the trade, that's the type of stuff. Chasing him around, trying to get in, but I don't see him outpointing Usyk. Now, if he stays behind the stick and make it difficult for Usyk to get in, because, he is a little more savvy about how he puts his shots together, how he uses his weight. The fight with, look, we seen him fight Wilder 3 straight times, right? Didn't the fight with him and Dillon look way different from the fight that he had with Wilder? And didn't I tell you guys, I don't see him fighting Dillon the same way. I think he's going to be on the back foot against Dillon. And didn't he fight him on the back foot? Now, because Usyk is the smaller guy, I see him, and Usyk's not a big puncher. I see him trying to bully Usyk. But what happens when that's not working? Does he, okay, let me get behind his jab. Because basically, for him to beat Usyk, let's say, and I'm not saying he can't knock Usyk out because, he's big, and he's punched a lot harder when he sits down on his punches. But that's the whole thing. Wilder couldn't escape it because Wilder was in positions he never should have been in the first place. And he knows Wilder's limited. He's going to have to find Usyk because Usyk is not stupid. It's going to be cat and mouse and frustration, irritation because you can't catch up to him and you want to hit him as hard as you can, and you know what? You're off your game plan. And to be perfectly honest with you, that's the fight. I don't see it being an action-packed fight. I see Usyk winning that fight on points. I see Usyk in, out, stick and move, doing what he has to do. I see Fury making excuses. I came to fight. I didn't come to run. And that, type of, whatever. We'll see what will happen. I'm not guaranteeing you, this is how the fight going to happen. But in my head, I don't see this being no action-packed, they was going at it. Nope. I see Usyk being smart enough to know, look, Fury's 280, 70-something pounds. He came in, he's been up to 231, come in 220-something. Okay, I'm not going to stand there and let this big motherfucker lean on me and bully me. Nope, I'm on my toes, but I'm putting that jab in his face. I feel like Usyk will stand in front of him. He'll, like I said, palm with that jab, throwing that little sneaky up jab that he throws. You know how he does that shit? And he's just going over. Now, because Fury's jab is so long, Fury will probably keep his hand in front of him to try to keep, Usyk out so he can't land it. But Usyk's quickness and angles is going to be the same thing. He's going to offset Fury. Fury's going to have to constantly reset. But unlike AJ, he's going to try to push his weight in, try to hold that left hand out, and throw that right hand as a sledgehammer. And Usyk is going to be too smart to get trapped against the ropes. And that's going to be the main difference, is those little tricks of the trade. I'm going to put my weight on him. I'm going to lean on him. I'm going to walk him down. I'm going to hit him on the ropes, hit him on the break, do all this kind of little shit and try to wear him out. And that is the smartest way for him to be able to beat him and stand behind that stick to give him a different look to where, because Fury is so tall, he's 6'9". When he sticks his jab out, did you see how short Dillon looked to him? And I think Dillon is 6'4". Usyk is 6'4", 6'3" or 6'4". So he's going to be that, but White is heavier than Usyk. Usyk is going to be so small compared to him, right? So that alone will give Fury confidence that he's just going to, bully this guy around. But I don't think Usyk is no paper champion. And I just think that Usyk is a lot smarter than what people understand. Not just the boxing skills of knowing how to throw, like winning how to throw the punches, but understanding distance and adjusting. He's great at adjusting to what's going on in the ring. You see, anytime AJ had any time of real success, he stay out of harm's way. And then he'll come back and then he'll outdo what AJ just did to him. So, okay, you might have been winning that round. I just took it back. And I don't think that fight is going to nearly be as easy for Fury as he think. Why do you think Fury? Look, and Fury also don't think AJ is no easy fight either. He doesn't think he's no easy fight either, okay? Why do you think he's doing this? Oh, I'm only going to fight you if these people go in their pockets and give me what I want, right? He knows that those are not easy fights. I don't care what he says. And also, and I'm not going to let y'all forget this. For all of y'all that like to talk and forget, okay? Deontay Wilder was a cherry pick for Fury. Fury was a cherry pick for Wilder. That's what that was. And basically, the better man won. You mean to tell me you'd rather fight Deontay Wilder with his WBC belt and you had Anthony Joshua up there as unified champion? You'd rather fight him? So yeah, whoever he chooses to fight, oh, he's the better fighter. Why? Because if you say he's not the better fighter and you chose him, then that means you ducked. So yeah, you're gonna say he's the better fighter. And also, Fury's a weirdo because he was laughing, trying to make fun of AJ because he, had his little meltdown. I ain't talking about in the ring, but at the post conference he started crying and stuff. And he that also is this, he got like a little short 15-second video up. He's however long it is. He's like, for all you saying AJ's a bum, he can't fight. Listen, the man can enjoy his life with his family. He can retire, he can this and this. So the man is living good. He's made it. So stop that, right? Fury, who are you talking to? You the one called him a bum, a dasa. He can't beat a little middleweight. You were the one saying it. So he's a weirdo for that. 1 minute he's praising you, the next minute he's insulting you. Then he's praising you again, then he's insulting you. Fury's a weirdo. Nothing new. But yeah, I just feel like when people watch things, even though they see things, it's like watching a magic show, right? They not really saw that damn little girl in half, that little tiny woman, how they get in the box, and that, but to the eyes, like, how are they doing that? Even if you couldn't figure it out, I think we all know by now, but even if you couldn't figure it out, your common sense knows he's not really sawing. He didn't saw her in half. You understand? You know that that her body's that. Where's the blood? Huh? If somebody sawed you in half, would you be sitting there smiling and waving to the fans? No. So you know that she's not really being sawed in half. Okay, so it's like you guys, a lot of times, it's like you're watching magic. You hear and see what's going on, but your mouth says something completely different from what's actually happening. And Fury's one of those guys that just has that ability to tell you, though he can use those Jedi mind tricks on people. He can tell you what you're seeing. No, you're not seeing what you think you're seeing. Oh, you're right, Fury. I'm sorry. I thought that, no, that's exactly what you're seeing. So the same way how we study fights and we break down who did what and how these fights went is with everybody. And like I said, I look at the Otto Wallin fights and look, man, when you come back and you fight a bunch, remember when David Haye came back? He was supposed to fight Shannon Briggs and they fought the same night. They both got knockouts, early knockouts, and then that fight never happened. And whatever was said, why the fight didn't happen. But remember how David Haye came back and steamrolled these two guys, and people was they going crazy. I remember particularly the last fight that he had before. I think it was the last one before he fought Tony Bellew. I didn't like the way David Haye looked. Yo, he got a second round knockout. That dude he fought was trash. He was a trash fighter. David Haye was literally bringing his punches back behind his back, leaving his chin open, looking real amateur-like because he knew he could with that guy. And I just said, nah, I don't like this version of David Haye right here, man. He good, man. Okay, we'll see. Remember how he was talking about, no, now he's not 6'9". In fact, Tony Bellew, I think, is a little bit taller than David Haye, but regardless. Remember how he was talking about how when I hit you one time, you're going to be knocked out. He thought his power, his size, that he was... David Haye came up from a cruiserweight himself. Okay, but maybe as a heavyweight, that was more his natural weight as time because your body grows and he has power, he can punch. So, he could hold his own as a heavyweight, and he did. But if you remember that fight, he couldn't get anything off on David Haye. I mean, on Tony Bellew. He couldn't get nothing off on him. Tony Bellew was neutralizing everything. He barely was able to touch Tony Bellew. And it was in that fight where people that I was personally having conversations with, like, I don't know what's up with David Haye, man. I said, I told you guys, man, he didn't look good in his life. Like, because he got a stoppage against someone he should have got a stoppage against. Look at his form, his technique, and yeah, you're right, damn, yeah. This is what I look at. Stylistically, what did you see to make you fight like that? No, he knew this guy was a meatball. And so basically, the fact that he was pulling punches from behind his head, you think you're going to hit Tony Bellew with that shit? Now, guess what? When Tony Bellew fought Alexander Usyk, he was out boxing. He was schooling Usyk. He was out. He was definitely winning that fight. Way up on that fight. And you know what? Usyk remained calm, stayed patient, and even though he wasn't punishing Tony Bellew, he was his constant work and move. He was making Bellew move more than he wanted to. He was making Bellew more active, right? So now Tony Bellew is not going to have the same situation where when he fought David Haye, how David Haye is not as active as Usyk. And guess what? Because Usyk has a better gas tank than Tony Bellew. Guess who got gas first? And Usyk was just hopping around, and he caught up to him. And see, this is the strategy. This is how a sharp mind thinks. Okay, he's up on points, but I'm gonna break him down. I'll get him, and that's what Usyk did. But my point is, look at what Tony Bellew was able to do. Okay, he was winning that fight by far. So when you look at a guy like Anthony Joshua who couldn't outbox Usyk, this is my point about styles, man. This is my point about it's not just the style, it's how you implement it. You can be 6'6", 250, 83-inch reach, right? Two guys, identical reach, both southpaws. Same type speed, same hand speed, same punching power, right? Both can take a punch, same way. Both can take this, But what if one of them is way sharper in the mind to where, okay, see, I'm more crafty than him. Like there's a saying, right? I taught you everything that you know, but I didn't teach you everything that I know. Meaning, oh, I taught you 20 things, but I know 50 things. You understand what I'm saying? So where one fighter can pull out the tricks of the trade, like remember, like Zab Judah kept telling everybody he's faster than Floyd, he hit harder than Floyd. Okay, let's say that that's true. Did it matter in the fight? Because overall, just what Floyd said about you, you're a front runner. Floyd was allowing you to, get a little more comfortable. He's figuring you out. He's saying, okay, and then he starts taking the fight to you. And then what happens? You fold it. You understand what I'm saying? So everything is not about you have to win every round or you're not that good. No, you got to understand what you see a lot of times is a failure, or a bad game plan. You don't understand that fighter understands who he's in it with. Just like you can feel the difference when, right? That okay, his punches are not as hard. Okay, like you see fighters on the back foot, and all of a sudden that brawler, he realized that guy's not hitting as hard as he used to, and then what you hear the commentators saying, "Look at the bravery, he's going toe to toe." Yep, because guess what? He took a lot of steam out of him. Now his punches are not hard anymore. You understand what I'm saying? So now what you're overlooking is, yeah, he's doing what he's doing. He's beating him at his own game. But it was not wise to do this while the guy was still strong. Just like you heard Tank Davis say about Raleigh. Look how fucking little Tank Davis is, man. Tank is tiny. Oh, man, all he did was dance around. Yeah, you stupid fuck. What was you supposed to do? Stand up there and fight him the way you want him to fight so he could lose? Raleigh's way bigger. You know what I'm saying? And he can punch. The thing is, Tank can punch too. And it matters who can take what. Because, mind you, he caught Tank with a couple of solid shots. Tank ain't going nowhere. And what did Raleigh say? What did he say? Tank gets hit by everybody. When I hit him, I'm going to knock him the fuck out in the first round. I'm going to knock Tank out. Bet all your money, bet your house. No, he's the fucking bitch. I'm going to fucking knock him out. Remember he was saying all that? And then what happened? Who went to sleep? He was right about a knockout, but it wasn't Tank. And every comparison I just gave you, right? With the exception of Tony. Tony wasn't saying, oh, I'm bigger, strong, I'm going to do it. But every comparison I gave you was about a fighter that was bigger than another fighter who couldn't employ their style, their size on them effectively. So it's no different from Anthony Joshua. It's no different from Anthony Joshua, man. You know, I don't know if you guys remember, but when Larry Holmes fought Kid Norton was the favorite to win. Holmes was the new kid on the block. Holmes wasn't a really big punch. He had a stinging shot. He had respectable power because nobody ran through Holmes either, you know. But Holmes and Norton basically was trying to take each other out. And the difference in that fight was when Norton started getting tired, Holmes still had a lot more in the tank left than he did. And they both were tired, but Holmes just had more left. And Holmes started catching him. So Holmes started outpointing him as the fight went on. And who was the bigger, stronger fighter? Now, yes, I think that Holmes might be a little bit taller, not much, but maybe a little bit taller than Norton. But either way, you know, it is like it's not like he was a giant compared. Look at Jerry Cooney. Look how big Cooney was to Larry Holmes. You understand? Um, you know, you got to understand, man. Like we see things a certain way. Okay, we see the potential. We see that a person, if they had a different mindset, that they could do things the way we see it. So if you're training a guy and he's not able to do the things that you want him to do, then you have to look at what his strengths are. Okay, don't expect Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder, Fury, Parker. Don't expect none of those guys to be different fighters. Don't expect them to be. They're not different. They're gonna do the things that they've been used to doing. So they have to be comfortable with what they're adding to their arsenal. And now Anthony Joshua knows how to dig to the body better. He was landing. He like I said, but he was only able to land one hard shot. So Usyk is just that smart, that slick, that slippery. So yeah, he was playing chess, but that was his mistake. Okay, and at the end of the day, you think, was it a mistake in terms of, are we expecting him to do things that he's just not capable of doing? So it is what it is, man. But I just wanted to bring that out, man, because you got a guy that go ahead and bust his ass and train hard and try to, like Eddie Hearn is saying, he left it all in the ring, and people like, he didn't leave it all in the ring. That motherfucker was, oh man, nah. Look at motherfucking Frazier and Ali, man. Look at their fight. Okay, first of all, I understand that point. Okay, but again, you're trying to make someone do something that someone else did. Ali is that guy. I never would ever go with anybody over Ali in the fight. Whoever Ali would fight, I would go with Ali to win. Okay. You know how many fights I watched the Ali and I'm getting bored because he keep grabbing and playing and talking and not fighting and all that. And I'm like, man, come on, man. Like, okay. Ali's battle tested and we saw what can happen, what he was made of. But my whole point, when you say that he didn't leave it all in the ring, you're picturing Derek Chisora. You're picturing him, going into that Thriller in Manila. Look, because he can box, because he knows that, when you see him in the 10th, 11th, and 12th round, when he started getting tired, you see he was getting hit with shots. But he was still there. He was throwing shots back. Are you saying that he should just tuck his chin and just say, okay, fuck it, just start swinging wild? No, he's trying to strategically land shots, and that's the thing. That's just his nature, man. It's just simple. So unless Anthony Joshua finds something that, okay, I can do this, I feel like he can fight Usyk 10 times, and Usyk would just keep edging him, man, because he just can't catch him and put him in a position to be vulnerable like he wants him to. Usyk can take one crack, even if it hurts him, he can still get out the way. He couldn't catch him right enough to really do damage to where, okay, he's about to fall, or he get him in that. And when he's throwing his combinations, the thing that he should have been doing that I feel like he'd have been more successful is in throwing his combinations, because when you're left, right, it's just automatically muscle memory, your head move a certain way. He should have been coming down the middle on Usyk. He should have been keeping his jab out to, just little things, little subtle things that you don't think mean anything, But again, man, listen, he fought his ass off. Usyk fought his ass off. For the people that saying that Anthony Joshua can't box, this is what I say to you, and you're entitled to your opinion. But what I say to you is, if you never fought, if you never even sparred anybody, it's really easy to watch other fighters and say, "Oh, he should have did this because he did that and he did this and he did that." Right? We have seen every fighter in fights where they look lackluster. Every fucking fighter, all of them, no exceptions. You liking a fighter and making excuses for them is not going to change anything. You not liking a fighter and trying to discredit them is not going to change anything. The reality is, there's going to be fights that in our minds, a lot of us, we felt like I said, never felt like it was impossible for Joe Joyce to beat Daniel Dubois. But because of his explosiveness, his power, and how easy it is to hit Joe Joyce, many people thought, yo, I think Dubois going to get him. Now, you had people that was going with Joyce because they felt like Dubois didn't prove anything yet. I remember, and I'm like, hey, listen, we'll see. But definitely, if like that explosive, he's going to catch Joyce and he's going to catch him clean. But, Joe Joyce is just able to absorb his shots. There's nothing wrong with you making a prediction and then the prediction don't come out. Now, for me, I'm not really into predictions. But, yeah, sometimes you see something playing out a certain way. Joe Joyce showed you how tough he is. He showed you his heart. He's durable. His pressure, his stamina. But guess what? The beauty of all of that is, even though with his flaws, like I said earlier, I said on the previous video, even with his flaws, Joe Joyce uses what he has and it works for him. That's what he does. You guys forget that he used what he had against Usyk already and lost. But look, he's able to beat other guys with that same style that didn't work on Usyk. So this is the same thing. I'm not ready to count Anthony Joshua out. Hell, I'm not even counting out Deontay Wilder. You understand what I'm saying? He got beat the fuck up, 3 times. And he's managed to get up and put Fury down. But again, same thing. It's not like Fury has never been down before. It's not like he's been, but we'll look at this. Okay, because I don't like to take credit away from people. It's like, I remember even going back when like Terry Norris, he was a guy, he beat Donald Curry. Oh, Curry was old. But before the fight, Curry was going to win. He fought Sugar Ray. Sugar Ray is a master. Even during the fight, when they're in the ring, dancing around and getting ready, everything. Sugar Ray is, he's this, he's that. And yes, he was. After Terry beat him, Sugar Ray's not the same. Okay? Big George Foreman. Yeah, Holyfield's a small heavyweight. I don't know. He has speed, but I don't know if he's going to be able to hurt Foreman. I think that, Foreman definitely, Holyfield got to stay away from him, in the early rounds, this and this. And there's people who said they thought Foreman was just going to kill Holyfield. He hit hard and Holyfield's small after Holyfield beat him. Well, this is not the young Foreman. Man, he hasn't been the young Foreman since he retired. So you're going to get excuses. You're going to get all of this nonsense. And so now you were saying Foreman was going to beat Holyfield, but then after Holyfield beats him, now you bring up the young George Foreman. Look, the young George Foreman, Holyfield would probably have beat that Foreman as well. That Foreman was just younger, maybe a little bit quicker, maybe a little. The only thing Foreman ever really threw with some kind of quickness is when he had you on the ropes and he threw them wide-ass clubbing shots to your hips. Yet he has nothing to defend there. So if you shot some hard, crisp uppercuts, he's wide open to get dropped. Yeah, but at the end of the day, just saying, man, it's always, I remember a lot of things that people said and say now. And then all of a sudden, one day they're talking and you have to remind them, like, no, listen to what you're saying now as opposed to what you said before. So when it comes to these fighters, you keep having all these demands. People like, and for anybody to sit here and say Anthony Joshua wouldn't have survived a 15-round fight, can you say any fighter right now currently would have, especially heavyweights, could survive a 15-round fight when you've never seen them do it and they're just as exhausted at the 12th round? So it's like you saying one couldn't do it, but what have you seen the other guys do? We haven't seen Joseph Parker, none of those guys go 15 rounds. Now, if the fights were still 15 rounds, of course they could, because they wouldn't train to go 12 rounds. They train for 15 rounds. Of course they could. But at the same time, let me say this too, for the people talking about, Frazier couldn't even stand up. And, Ali said out of his own mouth, he said, it's the closest I ever came to dying. Well, I'm just going to say this too, because, y'all always talk about legacy. And, I thought about something which I'm going to bring up after this. But look at how Ali's career ended. Look at how his career ended. Look at Frazier. Like, I mean, maybe for y'all that hate Anthony Joshua, it might make y'all feel good if 10 years from now he's talking and maybe that'll make y'all feel good, but these guys they fought, yes, and it was a great fight. Mickey Water, Turo Gotti, these guys were there trying to kill each other, man. No, that's just not who Anthony Joshua is. So it's like, okay. And that's one of the things that made Ali so special, because Ali was known for moving and sticking and moving and all. And then all of a sudden, Ali showed that he could fight, stand in the pocket if he had to. And he wasn't scared to do it. So making these comparisons is not going to change anything. So here's my thing. Let's say for everybody that's talking all of this shit, saying that Anthony Joshua can't box, right? Well, what if Fury actually grow a set and stop all this? I'm not going to knock him for trying to get his money, but I'm saying, if he turn that fight down, then, okay, that's another story. But let's say they fight. And let's just say Usyk beats Fury. And let's say his performance is not even better than AJ's. Now what do you say? Let's say Deontay Wilder gets in there with Usyk. Same thing. He gets beat. And his performance doesn't match up to AJ's. Then what are you going to say? You understand what I'm saying? Then what are you going to say? So you're making claims about who will beat who before it even happens, but you're writing off one guy. It's okay. Derek Chisora was speaking, and he was talking about him and that guy Johnny Nelson, and I think Coogan might have been the one doing the interview. I forgot. It might have been Coogan. It might not. I'm not sure. But did you hear something? You hear what Derek Chisora said? For those of you, if you saw the interview, then you know what I'm talking about. He said, people is talking about retire. He said, do you see how much money they're giving up now? What else am I going to do to make that kind of money? And I thought about it, and I said, hey, like I said, because of the punishment he's taking, all these fights, hey, it's like, hey, man, I don't know what else is left for him to do. Who else is he going to fight? But, hey, that's how the man's making his money. He's obviously don't have a ton of money stacked up. Or at least the type of money he would like to have with all the amount of years that he's been in this fight, dedicating this, getting there, jumping in there, fighting these guys. But when you look at it, yeah, man, he's trying to get paid. Okay. Hopefully, for any fighter, you don't go in there and end up brain dead. But, for all those fighters that went in there, Ray Robinson was no different. All of them punch drunk, Alzheimer's, and, Riddick, listen how Riddick Bowe talk right now. Listen how Terry Norris talk right now. Listen how James Toney talk. So, we can sit here and talk about how this guy does this. I mean, look at Derek Chisora. He's a fighter that we all can agree he leaves all in the ring, right? And he managed to finally get a decision against Pulev. You understand what I'm saying? So, like, his pockets is not packed. He's not in the position he wants to be in. So, when we're saying this, and you keep talking about legacy fighters, they fought for legacy. People, stop lying to yourselves, man. The fighters had a lot less control back then. The fighters took fights they didn't want to fight. I mean, let's look at fucking Jack Johnson. Jack Johnson was fighting in a racist time. And he's out here fighting nothing but white guys, beating the fuck out of them. And this man was dating white women when the time where they was hanging black people for doing that shit. That nigga's with a white woman? Oh, no. Hell no. Slap the woman up, take the man, tie him around his neck, tie him to the back of a car or a horse and drag him and, setting people, all the shit they was doing. Listen at this. Told Jack Johnson, right? Had a little, I don't know if it was a mob or just a bunch of racist guys. Told him, nigga, if you don't throw this fight, we want to shoot you right from the stands. And he said, well, shoot my black ass because I'm going to beat the fuck out of this white guy. Now, think about it. Here's a fucking guy who basically was in a time where who wanted him to win that wasn't the same color as him, same nationality as him? Who? Look at the type of pressure he was under, right? Think about it. And this guy goes in there, fuck that. And he went in there and fought. And probably beat the guy even worse than he would have, because he's imagining what these guys are saying. And like, you understand what I'm saying? Give them something to think about. You better shoot me, because if you try to fight me, I'm going to knock all y'all out. This guy went through all of that type of shit. There's no need to compare, what one guy did versus another. Now, it'd be one thing if Anthony Joshua was saying, I'm better than Ali, or I'm better than all of them. Like Deontay Wilder and Malik Scott did. You're better than Ali. Man, please. You not better than Layla Ali, motherfucker. You better than Ali. Nah. So all this kind of shit that people come up with and praise a person. Yeah, Deontay Wilder, let's not get it twisted. He goes for knockouts. That's all he knows. Just like Mike Tyson, that's all he knows is trying to go for the KO. Tyson ain't trying to outbox you. Neither is fucking Wilder. They're trying to go for their one-dimensional. Joe Frazier, same way. Sonny Liston, that's all these guys know. Go for the KO. Okay? When you have skills, you don't resort to just trying to knock people out. And how many times have you said, oh, but this guy always go for the knockout. You can't knock everybody out. So you got to learn how to mix it up. And the thing with AJ is he just looked like he's like he doesn't really understand how to mix it all together. Maybe I should get on my toes now. Get this guy a different look. Maybe that's just not AJ, man. Simple. That's just not AJ. Okay? So it's like, it doesn't matter what fighter you rate, how you rate them, how you rate them. I'm going to say it like this, though, and we're just going to see how things play out. Right now, in my opinion, from what I've seen, I'm going to say Alexander Usyk is number 1. I'm going to say Tyson Fury is number 2 because he's still undefeated. And I'm going to say Anthony Joshua is number 3. I don't know if I'm really willing to put Deontay Wilder in that 4th spot. Because honestly, I think I'm gonna just leave it like at that with this. There's a couple of people I see that I think will beat Deontay Wilder. Yeah, I'm not even gonna say who they are. It's not necessary. But I'm not putting them in. I'm not putting Wilder there. I'm saying for that 4th spot, we could put Wilder there, but I'm not really willing to put Wilder there. I'm really not willing to put him there right there, that 4th spot. And I don't know what Wilder got left in the tank. Because he got beat up bad by Fury, and them punches he took, man, like to just, and also understand he's not even sure if he want to get back in the ring with that weak resume that he has. So that says a lot. So he obviously doesn't feel like he has anything to prove either. You see what I'm saying? And and look, he said AJ don't want to fight him back in the day, and he said it recently. Then he ends up saying, oh, now they begging to fight me. Well, which one is it? Now he just recently said Anthony Joshua and Eddie Hearn was trying to lock him in because they knew he was going to lose to Usyk. Well, why won't you take that fight then? See? So we talking about legacy and all this shit. Well, come on, man. So just wanted to make this video and point these things out, man. Like I said, man, Anthony Joshua is an improved fighter. But, unfortunately for him, he improved in areas as a boxer where even though he improved, still just not as good as Usyk. So anyway, let me know what y'all think in the comment section. Never fall in love with lies. Remember, the truth brings hate out of people, and I'll catch y'all in the next video.